Come with us now as we venture into yesteryear. Or was it yesterday?
Who cares?
We care, Alfred. Our cuddly little Bob Wilkins comforts us in moments of stress.
Wendy, I'm home.
No, it's true. Our short, cigar-smoking creature feature host always told us the truth about the films. Sometimes the brutal truth.
The essential fact is, to get real suspense, you must let the audience have information.
Not to worry, Al. Bob always gave us information. Dependable, honest, straightforward, and serious.
I know you'll think I'm crazy, but in half an hour the moon will rise and I'll turn into a wolf.
You and 20 million other guys.
Join us now as our adult Dennis the Menace asks the musical question, creature features?
You really scared me. That's what you wanted. Is that what you wanted?
Bob Wilkins and Creature Features is brought to you in part by Campbell's Soup, good food, and keeps getting better.
Can you feature that awful creature? Can you feature that ugly creature? Creature features and feature features about creatures. Creature features. Now the strangest thing about this show or two is its host, Bob Wilkins, and he brings it to you. Features and creature features and more creatures and more features.
I think we have to fix that door over there. In fact, this whole place. When we started, the cobwebs were fake. Now they're real. Bob Wilkins here. What you just saw was scenes from an old creature feature show. Oh, I don't know how far back it went. I tried to forget all those movies and shows when I left Channel 2 years ago. One show I vividly recall, though, and that was my last program that I hosted February 1979. And I remember it because the crew actually destroyed the set right as you viewers out there watch the program. I don't think the crew has moved that fast, that swiftly, since 1979. But I'm happy to be back this evening, and they tell me through the magic of all the electronic equipment here at Channel 2 that we will try to return to the golden years of creature features. This is amazing. They have recaptured the set perfectly. It's amazing what Goodwill Industries can do on short notice. But Bob Roth and the floor department here, it even has the musty old smell. It's just a couple of changes. I used to sit over there, and but I sort of like it back where you had me. There we go. See, I told you, a lot of magic equipment here tonight. I'm Bob Wilkins, and I used to host a creature feature movie here way back in 1971. And in 79, I sort of walked away from it all. And people have called the switchboard and said, why did Bob leave? And here's two reasons why I left.
The incredible two-headed transplant. A massive two-headed man-monster threatening the most intimate terror any woman ever felt. Every woman his victim. Every man his enemy. The incredible two-headed transplant.
Brings back memories and a lot of headaches, too. I guess a film expert, after I quit the show, analyzed all the movies I'd played over the years here at Channel 2, nearly 700 films. And how many do you think were where the audience could watch the whole thing, were airable, as we call in television? 4 movies were worth watching, they said. That's amazing. You know, I had great reluctance to come back here this evening because you never know. You know, a lot of the people I used to work with are gone, or a lot of the old crew is in Ross Moore's Leisure World. Bad hearing, the eyes are gone, everything like that. So you never know how you're going to be received. It's sort of like going back to a high school reunion. But I'll tell you, it was all heart here at Channel 2 tonight. When I came into the lobby, they had this sign made for me at great expense. Misspelled my last name, and they thought Pat McCormick was coming back, but it's a thought that counts. And they had some flowers for me there. Isn't that great? They're plastic. There's something about plastic flowers and television stations that sort of go together. And right here's a note. It says, Bob, return these to the prop department as soon as you're through with them. Okay. Some of the other questions people had along the way, I guess when you're on television, people like to find out about your personal life and things of that nature. And they wanted to know what I've been doing since I left the station in 1979. And I hope to get into that during tonight's movie, which is a good movie, by the way. Okay? The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog. We'll be talking about that in just a minute. But with all the electronic equipment that they have here at 2 now, something that I didn't have when I did the old show, we will be able to go around Northern California and pick up live entertainment or whatever we want to do. So I'm going to experiment with it tonight and try to bring back some of the things that you used to enjoy on Creature Features. In fact, if getting my cue now, we're going to go to beautiful downtown Oakland, the Hyatt Hotel, where one of the great singing groups of all time is performing right this minute.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Funniest sound I ever heard, and I can't understand a single word. If he's serious or is he playing? Oh, mama, is all he's saying, Papa, 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 Papa,
Those are the world-famous Singing Melons. And I know you probably think they're some creation of animation or special effects. They are an actual family from San Leandro, and they were one of your favorites years ago. They will open up, by the way, the new Fairmont Hotel in San Jose, so you can see them live there. And we may try to get back to them a little bit later in the show. With me tonight is a special guest and a friend of mine, longtime associate on the old Creature Feature show. And Bob Shaw is with us, the film critic for Channel 2 now. Bob, you have a big job tomorrow night.
That's right.
Right. Bob is going to host the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's incredible. Right. Laugh about it now.
Yeah. Get out of our system.
Right. Tell us about tonight's The Fog, though, John Carpenter's.
Okay, The Fog was John Carpenter's follow-up to Halloween, a low-budget movie that ended up making millions of dollars and started these slasher horror films like Friday the 13th, went on for quite a while.
He's the guy we thank for all
That's
that.
right. That's all John's fault. I really enjoy this movie. In fact, in retrospect, I like it better than Halloween. It's a very moody ghost story with pirates coming back and visiting a town that wronged them 100 years ago. And it's really well done, very technically
Actually
proficient.
filmed in Northern California.
That's right, up at Point Reyes, the lighthouse up there.
Now, you told me off camera a little while ago that John Carpenter actually appears in the movie.
That's right. Right after the title of the film comes on, it says The Fog. The first guy you see is John Carpenter. He plays Hal Holbrook's janitor or something. They never really explain what he's doing there. He only has 4 lines in the film, but during those 4 lines he proves that he's no actor.
Okay. What I want to talk This just in, Bob.
Yes.
Excuse me here. This is important. Again, one of our live camera feeds coming in, this time to Washington, D.C. and the White House. Apparently, President Reagan has an important message.
Here's great news about two wonderful Baraxo hand cleaning products. First, Baraxo powdered hand soap in a new plastic decorator container. Looks like this on the grocer's shelf, and like this on your bathroom or kitchen sink. No rust marks, no messy soap dishes. Perfect for everyday hand washing for the whole family. And here's exciting new Baraxo waterless hand cleaner. Watch. I'll use some paint, some black shoe polish, and some dirty axle grease. Just a dab of Baraxo waterless hand cleaner removes the toughest dirt and stains. Anytime. In the workshop, camping, on the road, anywhere. Without water. Real convenience. New Baraxo waterless hand cleaner. And remember, Baraxo powdered hand soap. Both at your grocer's now.
Well, apparently that's the first time President Reagan has come clean on anything this year over television, and we're happy to be able to bring it to you here on our show. Back again with Bob Shaw, real briefly, Bob. Carpenter actually married one of the stars.
Right, Adrienne Barbeau. He'd made a television movie with her called Someone Is Watching Me the year before, and he had her back to do The Fog, and I guess they got along real well, and they ended up getting married, and as far as I know, they're still together.
He must have liked her work, right?
Yes.
How would you rank this movie? I mean, you were with me all those years when we played the dogs on Creature Features. This actually is a good movie tonight.
It's very good. It's probably better than 99% of the movies you had, and this one is actually a television premiere tonight. And I don't think you ever had a television premiere on your old show.
No. I think, well, we had one. It was Jesse James Meets Frankenstein Story.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. John Carradine.
Classic. There's a dry eye out there now remembering all those. Plan 9 from outer space. And,
oh, yeah. Attack of the Mushroom People.
Yeah.
How did you survive so long?
I don't know, but I got out while I was ahead. Bob, I want you to stick around. We're going to be using our live remote camera all this evening to bring you entertainment, see what's going on. We're going to be in Petaluma and El Cerrito and all over the place, San Mateo. And get a good seat out there tonight. Dim the lights a little bit because The Fog is an excellent movie. And we'll be back throughout the film, okay?
News Brief is brought to you by the Steak Seafood Salad Sizzler.
Good evening. Residents in a San Jose neighborhood today chased down, caught, and beat a 37-year-old man who was allegedly caught in the act of sexually molesting a 4-year-old girl. We'll have a full report at 10.
In Oakland, city officials rolled out the red carpet for out-of-town business interests that they hope will move to Oakland. City officials showed off the good and the bad. We'll have a report, and we'll have more after this.
Where do you want to go for lunch? I know where I want to go for lunch. I don't want to spend a lot of money. Not fast food. Definitely not fast food. I don't want to spend a lot of money. So where to? Sizzler. So, where do you want to go for lunch tomorrow? How about Paris? I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Larry Singleton's ex-wife says she's not afraid and she'll take back her ex-husband, but there is a law against that. We'll explain at 10.
In Sacramento, after digging up 7 bodies, searchers are back at it again in Sacramento. An update at 10. I'm Elaine Corral.
And I'm Dennis Richmond. Those stories are the news tonight at 10.
News Brief was brought to you by the Steak Seafood Salad Sizzler.
Drop everything, beer drinkers. It's Coors Extra Gold.
This ain't no all-pop powder pop beer that tastes just like whiskey. This is Coors Extra Gold. It's the beer with the taste you can see.
Imagine a full-bodied beer so smooth and easy drinking.
Yeah, this is Boulder Gold, a broad-shouldered beer the way beer ought to be. This is Coors Extra Gold. It's the beer with the taste you can see.
I put these beauties aside for you. Everybody's eating more vegetables.
That's why Campbell's added more vegetables to their vegetable soup.
Pasta, sure. Rigatoni, tortellini.
Pasta's not just noodles these days, so Campbell's put seashell pasta in their minestrone.
Gee,
You love cheese on anything.
So Campbell's gave you nacho cheese soup dip. As your tastes grow, Campbell's is listening and growing with you.
Campbell's soup is good food.
Try Campbell's dry soup in a box, too.
A lot of rich people are buying the Hyundai Excel GLS, but that's understandable with its wealth of standard features, like front-wheel drive, European styling, deep pile carpeting, plush velour upholstery, and the luxury of stereo sound. But the truth is, to own one, you only have to be rich in wisdom. Hyundai, cars that make sense.
Test drive the new XL now at your Northern California Hyundai dealer. We sell cars that make sense.
Bob Wilkins here with our Thursday night special on Channel 2. And it's the same old Wilkins who used to be with you on Saturday nights. We just switched days around for a while. Tomorrow night, don't forget, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we'll talk more about that movie later in the program. Let's take our live remote cameras now with this update from Lakehurst, New Jersey.
Here we are at Lakehurst, New Jersey. Here it comes. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. First transatlantic voyage. Here it is. It's about ready to dock. We can see it now. Yes, it's approaching the tower. And here it... Oh, my God, it's burst into flames! I can't believe it! I can't believe it! This is the worst thing I've ever seen! It's being played right in front of our eyes. There's little pickles and screaming for their lives. It's being regrilled against the cheeses flying under the runway. Look out! The batter's flying! Oh, this is major historic occasion! I can't believe it! Oh, my God, what's the matter? I thought it was horrible! We now switch you back up to the booth.
All right, I'm sure they'll have an update on our 10 o'clock news tonight about that tragedy. Coming up next break, we'll have the winners of the Bob Wilkins College Scholarship Awards. And we may have that drawing for the used Yugo that we talked about at the opening of tonight's program. All right, back to tonight's movie after these commercials. If you're wondering where all the fog and smoke was coming from, why, somebody left the coffee pot on the burner back there, and that's, I don't think they've got it out yet. I'm afraid to light the old cigar even. Let me just take a little time here to tell you where I've been since I left the show in '79. And as I said at the beginning of the show, people like to know personal lives of people in television and movies and stuff like that, and I have nothing to hide, so I'll tell you where I've been. I've always been gainfully employed, even though you can occasionally see me at the Berkeley Pier fishing and things like that. I never would have left to unless I had a job. My first job in 1979 was I worked for my uncle's laundromat in San Leandro, and that worked out real well. He started me off on the dryers, and I didn't like cleaning the lints out at first, but then, you know, you get a hang to anything, and it just goes along real smoothly. I fell down on making change, quarters, you know. For some reason, quarters were difficult for me to count out. And then the washers, repairing the washers. I hate my hands, you know, the grease and the dirt. And after about 2.5 years, I shook his hand and got rid of that job. It seems like a lot of my relatives have businesses all over the place. And I immediately went down to a car wash in El Segundo, California, Southern California, and I worked there for a number of months. And that's a pretty nice job. You know, my car was clean every night, and I just couldn't take Southern California, though. And I came up, back up in Northern California, and it's the job I have now is where I work most of the time, and that's my brother-in-law's worm farm in Modesto. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've heard a lot about worm farms. But I'll tell you, after being in television all those years and the hectic pace and everything, a worm farm is just perfect. I'm a night watchman there, and there's over 1 million worms in this big box. And those little buggers are so quiet, you can't believe it, really. And, you know, every once in a while, somebody, a crazed fisherman will break in and steal a couple of night crawlers, but we haven't had a lot of problems down there, and I hope to continue on in that capacity. And this television thing is just a one-time shot tonight, but it's nice to let you know out there what I've been doing, and maybe you could write me a letter and tell me what you've been doing since 1979. Okay? Now, one of the things in payment for doing the show tonight, another one of my relatives has discovered a new power tool. This is the first time advertised on television, and I'm able to bring this to you this evening. And if you could buy one of these, it would sure help me out and also Uncle Merle, okay?
No. From Bifco Enterprises. It's a Jiffy Repair Pal. Fixes anything you can break. This amazing tool works like magic to weld 2 pieces of wood. Presto! And look, no ugly seam or line. Torn tissue? No problem. The Jiffy Repair Pal does all your mending chores for only pennies a day. Uh-oh, broken light bulb? Don't throw it away. Fix it today. Make all those runny, messy glues totally obsolete. Give new life to crushed containers with this nifty tool. So get the Bifco Jiffy Repair Pal, available now at hardware and variety stores everywhere. Makes a great gift.
They're available at all white front stores. And also, I'll give you the phone number during the next break where you can order one, and the operators are standing by. And my God, this building is on fire, or the fog is rolling in here. And we'll get back to our movie, and then a little bit later, we'll have the winning lotto numbers that we talked about earlier, okay? One of the questions, I guess, people catch me on the street and say, hey, where do you get those weird posters that you used to have in the show? And here's a couple of the things I think they're talking about. These would look great in your kitchen at home, wouldn't they? Anyway, the posters are from the Cinema Shop, and that's on Geary Street in San Francisco. But a lot of these are worth a lot of money. This one here, the original from Invaders from Mars. And I want to thank Dan Ferris and the Cinema Shop for sending that old stuff over here again. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you where John Stanley is. John Stanley was the gentleman that took over from me in 1979 and did a tremendous job on creature features for a number of years. And John is still in that weird business. I mean, you read John's material in the pink section of the Chronicle, but he is responsible for the creature feature movie guide. He put this out a number of years ago, and he tells me that an updated version is coming out. And John is also in the publishing business now. Robert Bloch, his latest novel, and he hasn't had one out in years, and old Lefty Feep is back, one of Bloch's famous characters. I'm going to give you a name where you can write to, and John will send you back one of his catalogs. And I mean, you science fiction fans and fantasy fans, John Stanley's your man. Write to Creatures at Large, Box 687, Pacifica, California, and that'll be on your screen there. We're going to be talking in our next break about what's happening with that new Star Trek show. But back to the fog, and a little later in the show, Bob Shaw will be on to tell us how he's going to host Texas Chain Massacre tomorrow night at midnight right here on 2. Okay, they're standing by in Studio B where Grandpa Floyd is up there rehearsing his show. Let's go to Studio B right now.
Here's a little tip for discouraging those pesky termites you might have around the house. You take an ordinary brick like this one, and what you want to do is cover it with some wood grain contact paper. Just pull the back right off, like this, and just cover that brick right up. And you want to leave these around the foundation of the house. Several of these bricks covered in this manner. I forget why at the moment, but you know, you should always save string for good health. You never know when that ball might come in handy.
Grandpa Floyd, of course, can be seen on our noon news right here on Channel 2. Every weekday, Monday through Friday. Star Trek news during the next break. Back to the fog after these commercials. Boy, they cue the fog every time we come back. Some Star Trek news, and Star Trek was always a big part of the Creature Feature show. Star Trek The Next Generation, of course, is the working title for the new syndicated show with a whole new cast that will come back sometime this fall. And you can look for Earth Star Voyager, which is a big science fiction pilot that Disney is making, and James Goldstone is going to direct it, and he directed the very first pilot for Star Trek years ago. Okay, back to the fog, and Bob Shaw will be with us at the end of tonight's show to talk about tomorrow night's movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a musical.
Creature Features continues following this break in the fog.
You're watching The Fog, and I'm Bob Wilkins, and I've returned to Channel 2 after a number of years out there in the other world, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's movie. Tomorrow night, and we'll be talking to this young man in just a minute, Bob Shaw. Now, some of you may remember Bob Shaw. We have some footage here from a guest spot that he did on the old Creature Feature show a number of years ago. He was living in Berkeley. You can tell by his hair there. And I want to tell you just a little bit about Shaw, because he was a young man that used to write me fan letters and so forth, and he has so much information about movies and stuff that I was just really impressed with the guy. And another bulletin just in. Anyway, Shaw's background, and maybe some of you will say, why, that's the guy from the Ritz Theater. Bob used to work as an usher in the Ritz Theater, and then he managed his own theater in Fremont, the Fremont Showcase, I believe it was. Is that right, Bob? And, of course, that's where Cecil B. DeMille was an usher years ago. So this all ties in. This guy's just got tremendous appreciation of movies, and he knows what viewers and audience likes. And tomorrow night he really has a tough job on his hands, because he has to host the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he'll be with us at the conclusion of tonight's movie and tell us what to look for in that movie and who should watch it. Okay, this just in from our newsroom. Oral Roberts is near death this evening. I'm reading this. Apparently, he has tripped over his wallet and hit his head on one of his 7 vaults in his mansion. Details tonight on the 10 o'clock news. So, apparently, they're asking for prayers for Oral. And if you don't make the prayers, you'll have to give donations. And if Oral is seriously hurt, the church is announcing they're going to ask for donations for his medical care. This is, I'm sure that they'll cover it tonight in the 10 o'clock news. But bad luck, Oral Roberts. My goodness. All right, let's get back to The Fog after these important words. Well, Bob, you were right. Fog was a good movie. I'm always disappointed in endings like that, though. I'd rather see a guy in a rubber suit and they catch him, than doing all that stuff, But you have a really big assignment tomorrow night. We've talked about it all night long here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. First time on television anywhere in the nation, as far as we know.
Right.
How are you going to handle it?
Well, basically, I'm going to go on and sort of explain that most people shouldn't watch this film. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a movie that isn't for kids. And even some adults are going to be very disturbed by it. It's a classic. That's why we're running it. It's an acknowledged classic. It got a lot of critical acclaim in its time. And one of the reasons it is a classic is because it is such a dark, brooding film.
Yeah, if the audience did not have fun on this show tonight, forget tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. It's not going to get funnier as it goes on.
All right. Who should watch the film? Who is it made for, ideally?
Hardcore horror film buffs will probably be able to watch it without getting too worked up. If you like Night of the Living Dead, an unrelenting type film, you'll probably... It's hard to say you'll enjoy this movie, but you'll respect it because it's very well done.
We should point out that in the early 70s, I was given a film much like Bob was tonight to show, and I looked it over and I said, gee, I don't know if the audience is ready for this kind of thing. And it was Night of the Living Dead. Again, 2 was the first station in the nation to play it. And strangely enough, it became the favorite film, the most requested film that I had on the old Creature Feature show.
As shocking as that film was back then, now it's running like on Saturday afternoons. It's really strange. Some shows overdub, put in comic dialogue over it. I don't think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't think the time will cut down on how effective it is.
And we should point out that Channel 2 did move it from 8 o'clock, where it's listed in a lot of TV guides and things like that. But it's tomorrow night At midnight.
And at 8 o'clock, we're running Young Frankenstein instead, which is a much more...
Great. Well, certainly a lot of laughs there. I'm Bob Wilkins, and it's been fun being back at Channel 2, and perhaps we'll do this in 7 or 8 years again, okay? Here are some credits now for some of the people who made the show popular, and plus, made the show possible. One of my old clients.
They'll know you've arrived when you drive up in the 1958 Edsel, the car that's truly new from nameplate to taillights.
Bob Wilkins and The Fog were brought to you in part by Campbell's Soup, good food, and keeps getting better.
Only Edsel has the sleek, clean line design that sets it apart from the look-alike cars. And it combines new looks with the newest V8 engines in the world, the big new Edsel 400 and the power-packed Edsel 475. It is unlikely you have ever driven a car with so much real, usable power as the Edsel. And with Edsel's exclusive Teletouch drive, you drive more safely, more easily than you ever have before, because both hands can stay at the wheel while the Edsel shifts electrically. There's even the added luxury of new Edsel air suspension that's just like riding on air, because you are. And remember, of all the medium-priced cars, car for car, across the board, the 1958 Edsel is the one that's new and the lowest price, too. So see your Edsel dealer.
Hey, T-Bird.
Oh, you like what you see? I looked even better an hour ago.
Well, I got involved, Teresa.
Change the channel, will you, Willie?
Just give me a minute.